a frequency table, a pie chart, and a bar graph using the DCMP data analysis tools. So our question is, given the following 20 responses to a survey about blood type, create a frequency table with columns for frequency and relative frequency. And after we create the frequency table, we're also going to create a pie chart and a bar graph. So first of all, this data is categorical. You can see each of these blood types are categories. They don't go in any order. They're just blood types, are just categories without any numbers attached to them. So we're going to go into the describing and exploring categorical data. So whenever you have categorical data, we're going to be using this tool. And then what you want to do first is you want to go into individual observations, because that's what we had. We had that list of individual observations. So we can see here we're talking about blood type. So we want to name our variable first. We want to put in blood type. And then you can either type in the different data points or you can copy and paste them in. So I'm going to copy and paste them. I'm going to do Control C or Command C if you have a Mac. And then we're going to paste those in. And you can see automatically it just creates our frequency table for us, also creates our bar graph for us. So looking at this frequency table, it shows us that 6 people had type A, 7 had type B, which was the most. Only 2 had AB, and then 5 had type O. So that's our frequency column. That tells us how many of each there were. The next is the relative frequency. So how to get the relative frequency? You take each of our frequencies and divide by the total. So 6 over 20 will give us 0.3. 7 over 20 will give us 0.35, and so on. And if we multiply those by 100, it'll give us the percent. So 30% of the blood types were type A, 35% of the blood types were type B, and so on. So that is how our frequency table is organized. And then if we look below, we can see the bar graph. So our bar graph shows us the same information that the frequency table showed us. It gives us a visual representation. So we can see if we highlight over, it'll tell us those counts and percents that we have in the frequency table. This allows us to quickly see that B was the highest, AB was the lowest. Now we always want to give our graphs a good title. So if we click on this modify title, we can put blood types from survey, and that will label our graph. And the last thing we want to do here is create a pie chart. So if we go down, click on pie chart, then our pie chart will come up. And you can see this is parts of a whole, so we can use it in a pie chart. And over here is the key that tells us 35% were B, also if you highlight over it, 10% AB, 25% O, and 30% A. So that's just another way to represent this information. We can do frequency table, a bar graph, or a pie chart. And then also we're going to make sure that we name our pie chart. I'm going to name it the same thing I named our bar graph. And that is how you do each of these with categorical data. And remember, these graphs only work with categorical data. So if we had numerical data, we could not make the bar graph, we cannot make the pie chart. We can only do those when we have our different categories.